Hi guys, interesting updates from Iceland today. We know there was this surprise lava flow yesterday that was all of a sudden very fast flowing. A lot of lava was approaching the defense walls of Swartsengi, where the Blue Lagoon and the power plant are located, and the lava did cross Grindavik again, the main access road to the Blue Lagoon and also down south to Grindavik. And it was approaching, it was creeping up the defense walls there as well. So in this video, guys, we talk about will they be able to increase the defense walls and what's going to happen, because this could happen again, but not only there, somewhere else as well. And this could be unpredictable because it seems that this lava flow can change like the wind can change its direction. We'll talk about this in this video, and at the end of the video I'll give you an update about my intruders on the property that I told you about yesterday. So stay tuned, let's jump right in, guys. So the Icelandic Meteorological Office is saying that the activity in this volcanic eruption, in this one crater that still keeps going in the Sutnuka crater series, basically right next to the crater that has produced this long eruption, the last eruption that started March 16th and ended May 9th. So it's basically the little brother there, but it's spewing out more lava for sure than the other one. So it's still active, and the activity there is similar to what it has been spewing out the last few days. And the lava is flowing from the crater to the north and the south, and it is starting to gather again at Sillingerfell. Sillingerfell, you see this here on the map. So it was flowing right from the beginning as well, and you see a satellite picture here as well that NASA was taking. You can see these two lava flows to the north and to the south. But what has happened, there are two like lava lakes that have been formed over the past few days. I mean, this is day 11 or 12, is it even 12 already, of this eruption, and these lava lakes. And so there were some theories that one of the lava lakes broke, which was causing this like waterfall lava flow towards Swartsengi, but there is something else to it. And a geologist, volcanologist, Thorvaldur Thorvaldsson, has something to say about this as well, which is very interesting, guys. So we'll talk about this in a minute. So it is starting to gather again at Sillingerfell. So it's preparing to flow from there. And that's why what happened yesterday, which was going on for a few hours, could happen again. And not only where it already was, guys. Let's talk about this. In light of this, they are discussing whether they should increase the height of the defense walls around the Blue Lagoon and the Swartsengi power plant, because since these eruptions, the last one and this ones, are taking longer than the previous eruptions, the lava builds up on top of each other, and this whole lava carpet that you see here on these aerial pictures and on these drawings, it's lifting up, so it's getting higher. And we know that in the on the defense walls that are around Grindavik, that it has built up to the same height as the defense walls. Then they had to increase the defense walls, and it kept building up height, and it also did breach the defense walls. It was creeping over the defense walls because the lava is slowly grinding forward, pushing towards these walls, and then pressing everything up and then pushing it over the walls. So same phenomenon is happening now at Swartsengi. So they haven't increased them there as of yet. So should they? One of the person that is responsible for that said, well, the development of the lava flow is currently slowing down, yes, but we just heard it could happen again. So, and they are aware of the fact. They're saying, yes, it can therefore quickly change again, and it is not possible for us to say what will happen next. So they are examining these new developments and the risks that come with these new developments, but they're saying that they haven't made a decision yet regarding the situation at Grindavik. That road has been flowed over many times at Swartsengi and in Grindavik. They're saying, well, since everything has slowed down right now, it's kind of acting in our favor, but we know that this can change in a millisecond. And the lava is still slowly advancing. I mean, yesterday it was like a waterfall, but now it's still slowly creeping up towards the defense walls. Of course, they like that better because they're saying if it's creeping up slowly, we can monitor it, we can watch it, and we can evaluate how things are going as if there was like a waterfall fast flowing event happening like yesterday where they basically have no time to react. I mean, they got their excavator guys quickly closing the gap in the road so that it wouldn't flow inside the swartsengi area. That's what they always do. If there's gaps where they have to leave it open, leave the defense wall open for roads so that people can access swartsengi or Grindavik that's flowed over, but they used to. And then when they see the lava's coming, then they're closing these gaps in the defense wall, because if the lava was running down the road, right, it runs right into the area that they want to protect. So they have these guys with the excavators, these awesome guys on standby. And then if a threat happens, they're like the Fraggle Rock, they're closing these gaps. So they're saying they're having conversations underway about raising the defense walls, but they cannot state anything at the moment. They're working over the weekend. They're discussing this. So they're saying we're not waiting for the weekend to be over to make a decision. So that's a good thing. Let's hear what Thorvaldur Thorvaldsson, he's a volcanologist, is saying about what happened. He has made another Facebook post on his Facebook site about that recent surprise, fast-flowing, large amount of lava that all of a sudden threatened infrastructure. So he believes that the increase in that lava flow that happened yesterday is caused by the fact that the flow of lava from the crater that would usually flow to the south has been blocked somehow. And that's why the flow was stronger to the north, around Silingerfell and then towards Swartsengi. If it flows to the south, that's the lava flow that's approaching the defense walls of Grindavik. So he thinks it has been blocked to the south. That's why it was building up, and that's why it was flowing to the north in such an intense event. So he calls this event of that surprise, fast-flowing, large amount of lava interesting. So they didn't expect it. That's what I get from what he says. It was a surprise event happening, despite the fact that they knew that they were two lava ponds, two lava lakes accumulating, and it was clear if the sidewall breaks that then this would have a waterfall effect. But was that really the reason? I think he's having doubts about this, guys. So let's hear what he has to say. There is no doubt about it that when this lava flow started to run north from Silingerfell in the morning and it flooded Grindavik north of Swartsengi, that a lava pool that was at the top of this whole lava river that runs south from the crater at Hagafell was emptied. So is this connected? He says the fact that this lava lake has emptied out cannot be the cause of the increase in the lava flow north of Silingerfell. So interesting. So he says it wasn't the lava pond, the lava lake, although this has emptied out again. So what was it then? This volcano keeps us scratching the heads, and it's very, very interesting, guys. How the dynamics of this system are. So it keeps surprising them. So the reason why this cannot have caused this lava flood that approached Swartsengi is that lava lake has drained to the south towards Grindavik along that lava channel that is already running in this direction. So we haven't really heard that emptying out of that lava lake must have caused an increase of lava flowing towards Grindavik as well. So if that lava pool has drained to the south, why is there this massive lava flow that we've seen yesterday towards Swartsengi? And he says the lava channel that feeds the lava channel that is going north of Sillingerfell, that is running north from the crater. So how can that be connected to that lava lake that was draining out? And that makes sense. So that's why his conclusion is, and I think that makes sense, guys, that this change in the lava flow that we have seen, this rapid lava flow, must have been caused by the crater itself. So by changes in that crater, in this eruption crater. So he calls it, there must have been adjustments in the crater. So his explanation is that the most likely scenario or the most likely explanation for this phenomenon is that the flow that used to go out of the crater towards the south has been blocked. So that's why lava has been building up in the crater and has increased the flow to the north. So we will have to see in the coming days if that crater keeps being active as it is right now. We could see something like this happen again, but it could happen that it changes the flow direction and that something similar like this could happen towards Grindavik. And we also know we have these lava carpets that have built up along the defense walls. So that could cause problems inside or around Grindavik again. And Thorwaldur still stays with his theory that based on the development of the current volcanic eruption in the Sutnuka crater series, that it can be assumed that the volcanic activity in this area will end late this summer. So he still thinks this, in August most likely. So why does he think this? So he says, well, we can have some hope that maybe this will be over by the end of summer. And he relates this to that rapid lava flow that we've seen yesterday, because it was like an increase and a rapid send out happened several times yesterday over the times of a few hours. So with new shock waves, so to speak, of this lava river coming. So he also says, yeah, it happened several times yesterday. The lava pond emptied and then filled up again. It happened at least 3 times from 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock. So since he says that the reason for this is that the flow to the south side of the crater has been blocked, he now comes to the conclusion that the same thing can happen on the north side. So if the north side of the crater, if that flow towards to the north around Sillingerfell to Swartsengi is being blocked, the same thing can happen towards the south side. So that would mean that the lava would flow and the lava flow would increase in the southern direction, and that's where Grindavik is. So he says that it's quite obvious that there are some changes going on inside the crater, and it's very, very possible that it could change direction. And of course, this can have an impact of how the lava is building up, where the lava is thickening and gaining in height, and then also, of course, how far the lava will be able to reach, because it increases the flow rate. We've seen this yesterday. It was getting quite far in a short period of time. And this is interesting what he's saying now about Swartsengi, about the defense walls there, and about the lagoonies, my friend, the Blue Lagoon, right? So the Blue Lagoon closed yesterday when this event was happening, and this event was happening before the first daytime visitors arrived. So they closed it, and the hotel guests and the staff that was there, they had until 11 a.m. to evacuate the place. So they're planning to reopen the place today when nothing changes. So it's like always, right? They can't wait. So Thorwaldur was asked by the Icelandic newspaper MBL about the place, about the lagoonies. They said, that was their question. The Blue Lagoon plans to open on Wednesday. Do you think it's safe? And he says, it's never safe, but I think it's all right. The dikes are holding up, I think. It's not that much of a flow right now. Nothing is going to fill this depression at Swartsengi. So you have to read in between the lines. And I said this before, that is my personal belief. I'm not saying that this is hammered in stone and that this is a fact, but when I've been watching what has been happening in the past, I think that everyone who has a say in this, from the police chief of Sudorns, the civil defense, and also the scientists, they're quite muzzled a little bit and pressure's being put on them so that this place can be open all the time. We know that the civil defense police chief of Sudorns has said, we don't want anyone in the hazard map areas, which Swartsengi is a big part of. And they've said this since these series of unrest began in the Sutnuka crater series, and yet Grindavik's evacuated, but Blue Lagoon keeps doing business because it's such an important part of their GDP. So he says it's never safe, and it isn't, right? And the place is not letting people know about this on their website. The tourists are not aware. This has been confirmed in several interviews from Icelandic television stations and from statements that tourists have given. So it's never safe. Yeah, the dikes are holding up, but they're talking about that they have to increase the dikes should there be another rapid lava flow like this, right? Because it has already reached the height of these dikes. So if another lava flow comes on top of that existing lava carpet, it can easily flow over the defense wall, and then it creates like an accelerating effect if it flows down that defense wall, like a waterfall effect. And he only says the dikes are holding up, I think, right? Then the reporters have kind of doubled down. They have asked, they said, is Swartsengi in any danger? And then he says, not more than lately. But that's true, right? Because the danger level was always there. He says it gets harder and harder the longer these events go on. More and more lava piles up, and there is a limit how high we can build these defense walls. And that is true. So if this eruption keeps going another 6 weeks, like the last one, and keeps sending lava flows in this direction, basically what he's saying, we might not be able to increase the height anymore, and it might flow over. He says, and here comes his prediction again. He says, everything seems to me when I look at the data that the system is slowing down, and I stick to my prediction that by the second part of the summer, it will be over in this area. There will be a possible end of this eruption and the activity in the Sutnuka crater series. He points out again that this eruption did start with a big bang, very, very powerful, and that the land was subsiding for some time quite significantly as well. So he thinks that that shallow magma chamber, that magma storage that is underneath Swartsengi, has continued to be squeezed out, to be emptied out, and that there is a possibility that this magma chamber is closed right now and that there's not new magma flowing into that magma chamber, filling it up again, so that the lava that is coming out in the current eruption is coming directly from the deeper magma reservoir and it's flowing right out, so ignoring the magma chamber. So should we see a land rise under Swartsengi again in the coming days, that would be an indication that the magma chamber, the shallow magma chamber, is still alive and being fed by the deeper reservoir again. So that would probably mean we would see another event. It's not over. But if it remains like this, that is his theory, that everything could die down. So definitely, he says, the land is not rising as fast as it happened in previous volcanic eruption. So because that is an indication that the inflow in this shallower magma chamber is decreasing. And he says, if it's decreasing, basically the material is solidifying in these lava tunnels. So then it ends up being not able to keep that magma tunnel open. It will solidify, it closes, and then it stops. That's what he is saying. And he says, I calculated this some time ago, and of course there are a lot of uncertainties in it, and you can't predict exactly what will happen. But if the flow from below continues to slow down, as it has been doing, then it should be approaching the 0 point at the end of August. I guess we will see very, very soon, right? I mean, it makes sense what he says, but this system has been quite unpredictable and kind of does what it likes. So I think it's too early to say that yet, right? And I think we will have very interesting days okay, this sounds weird. We will have very interesting days in the week ahead. No, I think the next few days will be quite interesting because we will have to wait and see whether another rapid lava fall will approach Swartsengi again or either Grindavik, because that could really cause some problems for these defense walls that have been holding up quite well. So let's hope for them, if that's really the last eruption in this area, that the last eruption will not then do the biggest destruction, because if they've been keeping up with all the eruptions, protecting Grindavik from lava flow, Swartsengi, and then the last one comes and destroys it all, that would be really, really sad for all that they have been trying, right? So let's wait and see, guys. I'll keep you updated for sure. And now I'll keep telling you my story that I told you yesterday. So it's coming up right now. So guys, here is my update, and for those of you who have worried, you see this behind me. I do have the cameras and I do have them everywhere. They have perfect night vision and they have motion sensors. They're there for the purpose to protect the animals, and of course I've got the guys on camera because they came walking right through here. The thing is, right, you want to know who is it? Are they coming from my neighbor or not? I don't want to call the police on someone that if it's just the neighbors, it's just some party guys that got drunk and just climbed the fences and stuff like this. But there's some updates. Other neighbors have reported. Another neighbor last night that is maybe half a mile away from me, she said they have 5 guys in her property lurking around, climbing through fences from the neighbor and stuff like this. Another neighbor said their fence was marked with like golden paper, and then she found like beer cans the next day. So they're thinking these are just like some parties that teenagers are doing on rural properties or stuff like this. I don't know. You know, I really don't know. My neighbor, who's a really nice guy, they said they weren't home that night and it was only their caretaker. So I thought, okay, I heard the music. So the caretaker did like, hey, you know, nobody's here. Let's have a party. And so some guys, because when they came here, it did make sense to me when they said, oh, they said we can pet the horses, because my neighbor, they have some family living on the property and they're always petting them, but from their side of the property through the fence line and stuff. So I just thought it made sense. But, you know, assumptions can kill. That's what I learned from a show that I've been watching, Jack Reacher, and he's like a special ops guy. And he says, well, don't do assumptions because they can kill you. You have to do something based on facts. And so maybe it wasn't from my neighbor. So I'm still trying to find out. And so guys, don't worry, I'm okay. I've got this high security here since someone once stole my dog and theft and stuff like this. It's a lot of stories. So yeah, I thought I'll give you this update, and I want to give a shout out, and I believe the horses want to one of my young viewers, Stella May. She's 8 years old, and her mom wrote me and said, hey, she's watching my videos and she loves the horses. So he says, hi, Stella May, that's really awesome that you're watching my videos, and here are the horses for you. They're saying hi, and keep watching. I'll send you some more videos of the horses very, very soon. So he wants to be scratched by me. This guy loves me like a dog and he follows me like a dog. And of course the other ones, they need to be curious. My hair is not hay, guys, so please don't. So guys, Thank you so much for watching. You are awesome. Let the comments keep coming. I'll read them all. And yeah, have a good night, have a good morning, have a good afternoon, wherever you are, guys. So I have some chores to do. I have to fill up the waters. And then I'm off for tonight. And then I'll go and I'll edit this video. And you guys, you leave my hair alone. Bye-bye, guys. Like this video, by the way, and check out the videos in the end screen, guys. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.